What up, my beautiful people of YouTube? Dolly back again today. Okay, I know it's a little bright behind me because I had to open the curtains because this hotel room has terrible lighting. Okay, terrible lighting. But we're going to be going over the Emanuel Harro case today. Some of the news, some of the rumors, some of that stuff that's been going down in the case the last few days. But first, I'm going to need your DNA and your fingerprints on that like button just in case you go missing in the damn desert, okay? Or in the hills of Tennessee, deep woods of Nova Scotia. I'm going to need that DNA on file. Also, if you're brand new, sub up the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and feel free to share my ugly face on any social media platform you choose, as long as it's not Pornhub. Okay, don't put me on Pornhub if you do, put me in the ugly category. Okay, the ugly category. So, last few days have been kind of crazy for me and for this case, right? Because just 3 days ago, we seen the parents of Emanuel Harro get arrested, Jake and Rebecca, okay, which was really good news. I thought some of the craziness would die down once these people were in jail, but damn, was I wrong there? No, not died down. People still all over this case. I get it. I get it. It's it's a wild one. It is a wild one. And here's the thing: is this thing is getting so much attention here in the United States. I mean, all major news outlets are carrying it. Okay, but what about Jack and Lily Sullivan? Right? Remember Jack and Lily Sullivan, Nova Scotia? The same situation, but with two kids. But with two kids, and it got hardly any attention. Now everybody and their mama has been talking about Emmanuel Harro, but not so much Jack and Lily. See, to me, it's one of these situations where who picks what is big and what ain't big, and because all these kids matter. To me, Jack and Lily Sullivan matter just as much as Emmanuel Harro, just like Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers. All these kids' lives matter, but some of them get treated differently than other kids, right? And that kind of upsets me a little bit. I think we need to treat our kids the same, and all these kids deserve to be found. There needs to be justice for all these children. Now, we know in this case right now, we're starting to get inconsistent statements. Things are like a little strange right now because we got Jake, okay? Jake. Wait, let me give my warnings before we jump all into this. Dolly Visions for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories mixed with a little bit of comedy, a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing here as fact. It's just my opinion. Everyone is innocent to proven guilty. Even these two low-life parents that we're going to be talking about today are innocent to proven guilty. And the biggest one of them all is don't try to be Dolly at home, okay, or anywhere. It's dangerous and your head could explode, all right? So yesterday we seen Jake in his orange jumpsuit out there on the side of the road on the interstate, and there ain't nothing out here but mountains and desert and cactuses. So he led the police to somewhere. I say on a wild goose chase, right? And we still got Rebecca saying that the kids were kidnapped. I think the gig is up, right? But apparently, now they've been separated, so they haven't had any communications to get their story straight. So this is I don't think Rebecca knows that Jake is turned on her. So many people are reporting that Jake has confessed. Unless you are a police officer and you work in the homicide, I think this is just speculation at this point that he has confessed. I think he has agreed to work with authorities. And I think he is blaming the mother for the disappearance. And she don't know. She don't know what's going on the street because she's locked up in a cell by herself, 23-1, right? Maximum security for these people. So they don't know what the other person's saying. So she's still going with the baby's been kidnapped, thinking he's saying the same thing. but he's not. He's done turned on her, right? He's done turned on her, and he's blaming her just like he blamed his ex-wife. Okay. Now we know this man has charges of domestic violence. He has charges of child abuse. She's the stepmom, I thought. No, 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 no. Rebecca Harro is the mother of Emanuel Harro. I think that's why she did the media interview to try to get word to him that she isn't speaking. You may be absolutely right. And thank you for your donation to the channel. So a lot of channels reporting, that he confessed, but we haven't heard the police come out and say that he has confessed. Only people we've heard say these things are TikTokers and YouTubers. So we have no confirmation that he's confessed. Like I said, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, you don't have to agree with it. We all think differently. He is blaming the mother, and he's showing them locations she may have dumped the body. And basically, he's just BSing the police to make himself seem like he's not responsible, that he wasn't there. Remember, he was at the football game. She was there. So I think he's pointing the finger, of course. And, like I said last night in the stream, there was people out there screaming to the house, Jake is going to turn on you, Rebecca. You need to talk now. You need to talk now. And she didn't listen. Rebecca, you should have listened to those people that were outside your house, because they were trying to give you the best advice that this man was going to turn on you. And to me, this is what it appears to be. Okay, it don't appear to be he's confessing. I guarantee you this, when he goes to court, he pleads not guilty. And he knows that it's over, right? It's done. We're both going to prison forever. So he's going to try to do the best he can to cut his sentence down, and he's going to start blaming his mom. And it's easy to blame the mom. Think about this. She was the last one, allegedly, even her admission that she was with the baby. The baby came up gone. He wasn't there. All right? Now, I don't think it takes no genius to put together what he's doing. He's turning on her. He's telling them he's willing to testify to her. He's leading her where he thinks the baby may be, so he can say, well, I've been cooperating with the authorities the whole time. You notice when it went down and they said the parents wasn't cooperating, he got a lawyer. Not Rebecca. He did. And the lawyer wasn't speaking for Rebecca. He was speaking for Jake. And he said Jake wants to clear up the old charges that he had. So this man knew from the beginning that he was going to throw his wife under the bus. Okay? Now, she is one of those, I'm going to stand by my man type of people. And it ain't the best place to be in this situation. Okay, why have I lost the chat? Or y'all are just being really quiet? Okay? Somebody say something in the chat, because I'm not seeing the chat whatsoever. Let me go over here and let me switch off of this and switch back onto the chat. Maybe that'll fix it. I don't know. I have no chat. That is crazy. Usually it'll say click here to. The chat hasn't moved in a little bit. I don't know what's going on with the stream. Maybe it'll catch back up. I don't know. But yeah, I don't believe he's confessed and said, hey, I've done this. All right, hold on. Hello. Well, my page says 1600 and it's not updating the chat. What I'm going to have to do is step out and huh? Oh, it just moved again. Okay, maybe that's what it is. It jammed the chat up. Okay. Yeah, I see 2.2 now in there. Okay. All right. Well, okay, guys. There's so many of you guys. I'm lagging a little bit. I'm using my hotspot because I'm here in Vegas, and I couldn't figure out how to log into the Wi-Fi of this hotel. So I just been using my hotspot. So I'm a little bit behind in the chat. It's catching up now. So, like I said, it's rumors that he confessed. Okay, just rumors. We don't know what he's saying. We know he's talking. That is true. Jake Harro is talking. But what is he saying is the $1 million question, right? What is he saying? A lot of rumors coming out yesterday about, I can understand why people thought they may be at the location of a body. But as soon as I seen that they didn't have no blue tarp set up, or they wasn't blocking the view of the public, or there was no coroner van there in hours, I knew that this baby hadn't been found. And I knew days ago that this story was going to play out this way. Now, that ain't my psychic abilities. That's just my spider senses, right? Just my spider senses saying, hey, you know, he's going to start blaming her because he has a history of this. He has a history of abusing women, right? So he don't care about it. If you can beat on a woman, you don't love that woman. If you can beat on that woman, you will throw her slam under the bus and watch her get ran over. I can't wait for him to talk. Well, he's talking. He's just not saying what a lot of people are reporting that he's saying. I've seen so many reports of people saying he's confessed. He said he killed. That ain't, he's never, the media is not even reporting that. So how are YouTubers and TikTokers reporting something that the mainstream media has more access to, the police department and all this, than any of us YouTubers or TikTokers? But they're not reporting this, but YouTubers and TikTokers are. Okay. Right now, this is a lot of rumors, speculation of what he's saying. I believe he's taking them on a wild goose chase, that he's saying he didn't do it, that she's did it, and he'll cooperate. There's just a ton of stuff going on with this case, but it really, at this point, it's going to take really good police investigation, detective work, to put the final pieces of the puzzle together. Okay, so a lot of us are getting our news from YouTube and what's going on YouTube, but you got to be a little patient in this, a little bit patient. We've seen people jump the gun in a lot of stuff already, like with the death of the baby, and even some really big people. Um, like even the Tita, right? He was out there, and he reported that they had found a baby. Now, nothing against the big homie. I guess he assumed these things. If he was there, you probably would assume these things too, right? If you see the police out there, they're searching this area, he's out there, it leads you to believe that they found the body. So I can understand why he reported it on the scene, because when he was looking, he thought, hey, they got him. He just didn't have confirmation that they had him. But if you just looked at the scene, you would have thought they had found the baby. I get it. I get why people were saying the things they were saying. But you got to use some true crime abilities in this. If they had found a baby, they would have had the baby covered up. You would have had big blue tarps up. You would have had the coroner there. Okay. Searching for the baby is what they were doing. Okay, but it wasn't so much reported like that. And a lot of people on YouTube, once they hear something, they run with it. Now, I ain't saying I haven't ever said something that wasn't true. Okay, I have. I can't remember when. It's been a long time. Okay, maybe in the beginning of my YouTube journeys, but uh, if you do make a mistake, you need to correct that mistake immediately. Immediately. And on the Tita, he did. He came out and he retracted his statement, which is really good. He did it pretty fast. Now, there was other YouTubers up here that didn't do that. They left their thumbnails up saying the baby was found. They left their titles the same. I bet you most of them titles are changed by today, but they kept them what it was. And that's just a dishonor to the true crime community, right? Like, say I report something that's wrong. All you have to do is go in and change the title. I'm sure y'all have seen me change the title here a time or two. Like, okay, well, that wasn't right. Let me fix this title. And then you fix the title. They did the same thing kind of on the press conference, on a rumor. They ran with a rumor. And, like even I rumored there's supposed to be a press conference, right? Because people in chat were saying Dolly did a press conference. So once I said it, everybody thought that it was a press conference, and there wasn't, right? So we actually found it kind of funny that everybody's running with these stories. It just shows you how much they don't know. Okay, they don't know. And when something like this, say somebody comes in here and says they found a baby, all right, the first thing I would do is look for a credible source. And listen, I don't find TikTokers and YouTubers to be credible sources. Okay. Even if I say something to you guys, I would say go fact check it. Go to a credible source of information, people that can get sued if they put out the wrong information, and go from there. Now, there was some channels like Court TV, and stuff like that were putting out some stuff that they should have checked a little bit, tiny bit better. And I was surprised by that. That's all I'm going to say is I was surprised by that. And once we get an official, one thing about this stuff here in California is there hasn't been really no transparency in this case or with the investigation. So it's leading people to a lot of crazy speculation in their own what they think is happening. So they're assuming things, right? Because they're not being told the facts. And it happens, right? And if the police were a little more clear about what's going on, like if they would have put out a report to mainstream media saying, hey, we're working with the father, he's showing us locations of where the baby possibly may be, then I think these YouTubers would have been reporting that they're searching, the dad's leading them to possible locations, instead of just the title being baby found. Okay. So a lot of people got their hopes up last night, and I'm not one of those people that like to get my hopes up. If you get my hopes up or you sell me some wolf tickets, I get a little mad about it. Okay. I'm like, oh, hell no, you better stop playing with my emotions, right? I'm all joyful that this, the boy's been found and this is over. And then bam, it ain't. It's just people jump the gun a little crazy. So like I've heard everything from rumors to like they tried to wash a vehicle with a baby stroller in it, and just different things that are going on, and especially with the mother story now not aligning with Jake's, right? Because when you're in jail, you can't communicate with other people in jail. So he can't write her, she can't write him, they can't have phone calls together. And their stories are changing. She's still running. The baby's been kidnapped. I still been hit in the back of the head. I wish I was out of jail so I could go look for my baby. I mean, I think it's time to give it up. Or is this lady have some mental health issues? Now, we know she's been punched around the room like a damn punching bag. You can see that from her face, that she's pretty beat up, and I don't know. They need to get some counselors in there with her, right? They need to get, because we know, I mean, they could have, I think it's him, right? I think it's Jake. He don't get no free pass to me because he's out cooperating with the police or talking to the police. Now, if she got play in this, I think so too. But who's the main culprit in this? Who should be punished the hardest in this? The woman with no background, criminal background, or the man that's done this before? I would definitely say him. And I know the police are not stupid, right? He's probably saying they just want to recover the baby. So when he's saying I didn't do it, she did it, I'll take you to these locations, the police are like, all right, like Outcast, okay? But really, they just trying to recover this baby, and then they're going to flip on him because the strongest case that they have, circumstantial evidence, is against Jake. Think about it. This woman got no history. Her lawyer's going to walk in there and say this mother's never broke a law. She's never did this. She's abused. You can believe time they hit court, she's going to walk in there as an abused woman. All right. Now, if they don't play the abused card, I'm in Vegas, and I'm going to tell you now, I ain't trying to defend this lady, but Any smart, intelligent attorney would say this lady suffers from Stockholm syndrome. She's been beat, she's been abused, she suffers from battered wife syndrome, and she has all these mental health issues. We need to get her into a hospital, get her evaluated. And this dude is a monster. He's hurt kids before, he's beat on women before, and they're going to point the finger at him. That is, I can almost predict how the court's going to go. And then, of course, he's going to walk in there and point the finger at her. If he points at her and she points at him, we get into one of these situations like Adam Montgomery and Kayla Montgomery. Y'all remember that? The case I covered in New Hampshire. I flew up there for the court hearing. They both walked in there, and well, he didn't. He did it from video camera, but he pointed at her, and he was saying he had nothing to do with it. She was saying he did it. I had nothing to do with it. I couldn't stop him. And they planned this. They knew they were going to get caught. But see, Adam Montgomery and Kayla Montgomery are a lot smarter than Jake and Rebecca. Okay, they were a lot smarter because they planned this. They knew they were going to get caught. They knew it was a matter of time. And Jake told her, look, when you go to court, you point the finger at me. I'm going to point the finger at you, and you're going to walk. They planned it. I mean, they had proof that they planned it. Come to court time, they did exactly what the plan was. And Kayla Montgomery is walking the streets right now. Okay, probably pushing a dead baby around in a stroller. I'm probably kidding about that, but I wouldn't be surprised, right? Because the woman is trash. So she allowed this man to beat this child to death while she took care of her kids, but didn't take care of the other kid. Look, if I had my daughter with me and there was a complete stranger, one of her friends with her, I wouldn't let nobody put their hands on her friend or anybody that's with her. You know, I wouldn't let you put your hands on any kid around me. So to sit there and allow somebody to abuse somebody, I mean, if you don't do nothing to stop a crime, you're almost as responsible, right? If you just walk by and don't look, or you just pull out your video camera and just videotape it, but don't help the people. Just like, look, I was videotaping, okay, and remember on the Tita guy, he fell out. He damn heat stroked out there, and like it was scary. I'm filming, and I hear him hit the ground behind me. So I never stopped filming, but what I did was ran to my car. I got that cool rag, right? Because I had a cooler full of ice in the trunk of the car, and it's hot in the desert. Some of you people don't understand the heat. The dry heat, it ain't like, it's bad. It gets bad. I'm surprised more people didn't fall out that day. But I ran in there, and a guy had came up just the day before me. And I think everything happens for a reason. And he gave me that cool rag. He's like, look, I wear this in the desert. I wanted to give it to you. And so I had that in the car, and I had the ice water, like freezing cold water. So I dipped that thing in there, ran it over to him, took him some ice water. And by that time, he had started sitting up, and they were trying to cool him down because it is that hot. And I truly think that people are put in certain places for certain reasons, like that guy that came and gave me that. He was supposed to give me that, right? I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences. It's just the way the world works. Like certain things happen for certain reason. And it was a chain of events that led up to that moment that I was that prepared to help in the situation of him falling out, right? I didn't save him. The paramedic, the police were on top of him, right? I helped in the situation, right? I didn't just let me film him and not do nothing to help him, right? I would think if you was hurt, you were drowning in the water, I'm going to jump in the water and try to save you. All right, you fall and hit your head, I'm going to try to get you off the ground. I'm going to call the paramedics. I'm going to get you help. Or I'm going to try to help you. We live in a world today where people don't want to help you, right? They don't. But I have to say, there was a lot of people out there that did come to on the Tita's rescue that all surrounded, try to get them back on it, help, and got the police and the paramedics and everything like that. So it was handled in a pretty fast situation. And so he's out doing interviews. So it's good to see that, he didn't get hurt bad because he hit his head pretty damn good when he fell, right? I mean, you heard it. Like it ain't like he fell in the gravel. So I felt bad for him. And But we got to be careful about when we put out these, you know, you got to tell people when it's rumors, when it's speculation, when it's theories. I think that's important because I could come up here and report something right now. Over I got 80,000 subscribers, thousands of people that watch me. So it's like, with great power comes with great responsibility. So when people give you a voice on this platform, I ain't saying you can't get nothing wrong, right? Everybody makes mistakes. I completely understand it. But you got to use this as a superpower. Your voice is powerful, especially when people look up to you on the internet. So there's a lot of smaller channels that are like, man, I want 80,000, or I want to, have thousands of people watch me. So they listen to you and they believe every word you say. So say I came out tomorrow and said they found a baby, and I said something that was just completely wrong. It's going to happen again. Okay. It's going to happen again because people would go, okay, I believe Dolly. Why would Dolly lie? Right? But we got to remember the key word is allegedly, it's rumored, and go from there. Like he could have easily said it's rumored that they found the body, right? But if you report something as fact, people take it as fact. That's why I give my warnings. Dolly Visions for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation. It's just my opinion, right? So I want people to know that, hey, this shit is rumors and speculation, and we don't know until we know. And when we know something's a fact, I'll tell you, hey, this is factual. We know for sure this is real. But everything else is just open to opinion, speculation, theories. Hey, Dolly PJ, Coco, I agree 1%. She's responsible. So a lot of you think the mother's responsible. See, and this is going to play into Jake's defense, right? People that believe the mother is responsible is going to play into Jake's defense. Here's the bad thing: this dude hurt everybody, and then he's going to turn state evidence against the wife, put her in prison, and he's going to serve 15 years in prison to get out to hurt somebody else again. We can't allow that to happen. We cannot allow that to happen. I don't know who needs to get a message to Rebecca that her husband has turned on her, but they need to let her know so she starts talking and finally tells the truth, right? Rumors equal leads? No, rumors don't always equal leads. Okay, leads equal rumors is what you probably should have put. Leads equal rumors, because you see they had a lead, they took him out there, and then rumors flew, right? Rumors, they found the baby, that Jake confessed. But no, a lead equals rumors, not rumors equal lead. That's backwards. Your math is backwards. Okay. Rebecca will incriminate herself. Let her keep talking. I mean, I'm sure she has some play in it because she's the one that covered it up. Right? So she has other children she didn't hurt. Now, I ain't saying she couldn't be like a Leilani Simon and done something horrible. I'm not saying it at all. She could have play in it too. But this all stems from this man. And some people say, Dolly, you go too easy on women. You go too easy on women. Well, we don't have too many abused men. Okay? He ain't walking around with black eyes. She is. And I mean, men are usually more dominant and controlling of the situation. Not always. There's some women that wear the pants in the house. Don't get me wrong. But I would say 90% of the time, the man runs the relationship. Okay? Mab says he was abused. Stop lying. Miss Mab treats you so good. We don't have many abused men. You are a moron. Okay, kick that person. You are talking to yourself and not chat anymore. You the moron, right? I ain't saying we didn't have no abused men. I said we don't have as many abused men. And if you sitting around letting a woman beat on you, you ain't a man. Okay? If you can get your ass whipped by a woman, you ain't a man. I'm talking physical abuse. I'm not talking mental abuse. There's plenty of mental abuse from women. Okay. I'm talking physical abuse. We don't see too many women beating men up. Men are abused. Y'all take everything out of context. I said we don't see as many. I didn't say we didn't see none, right? I've seen men be abused. I watched the Jerry Springer show where the dude was out there crying, say his wife's mean to him, and she came out there and hit him with a plate of spaghetti. Anybody see that? That thing had stuck with me for like 10, 15 years. Anybody see that Jerry Springer episode where the guy was just crying and talking about how his wife abuses him and beats on him and shit? And he was sitting out there. The lady came out there and hit him in the face with a plate of spaghetti. I don't know why spaghetti, I guess for dramatics, but I was like, oh, hell no, right? Listen, if you stick around for that, you a moron, right? Because I would not never let a woman beat on me and me stay, right? I'd be, oh hell no, I'm on the first bus out of town. And if you're a woman and you're allowing a man to beat on you, you got to know your worth in this world, right? You got to know that. Male abuse isn't reported. Are we talking physical abuse or mental abuse? Probably not so much. Yeah, men are less likely to come out and say, oh, well, I'm being abused. But do you see husband battered shelters all over the country? Do you? But you see women battered shelters all over the country. I pissed off the 5 dudes in here that are getting abused. They're like, Dolly, I'm getting beat on now. Okay, like damn, right? I'm just taking up for the ladies. Somebody got to do it. Okay, somebody got to do it. Some of you guys are assholes and don't know how to keep your hands to yourself. Now, women, I believe, are more mentally abusive than physically abusive. And men can be just as mentally abusive and physically abusive also. I ain't saying like I'm saying. I just think the majority of times that we hear these stories, it's a man abusing a woman. And if you can't look at this lady and see she's been abused and she is sympathizing for her captor, right? Because at this point, she seems to be trapped in a relationship, right? Or she just loves this man so much that he's more important than the baby. Johnny Depp was abused. Okay. Johnny Depp is looks like a pretty wimpy guy. Okay. He's feminine. All right. Now don't get mad at me talking bad about Johnny Depp, but I'm talking about he ain't too far from being a lady. Okay. I'm just saying. He ain't the most manly man I have ever seen. Okay. So and that lady doo-dooed on his bed. That's when it went a little bit too far. Okay, that's when what's her name? Amber Heard. Johnny is a lady, right? I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I mean, he kicks ass in Pirates of the Caribbean, but I mean, in real life, do you see that dude winning a fight? Do you see him winning a fight? Listen, I ain't putting my money on Johnny Depp, okay? If he fought Tom Cruise, who would win, okay? Johnny Depp versus Tom Cruise, who would win? Tom Cruise would whip his ass up and down the Scientology stairs, okay? I'm just saying. Anybody think Johnny Depp would beat Tom Cruise? Anybody in this room? Dude look like a lady, right? Don't talk about Johnny. I'm going to lose subscribers now, right? When people need help, who do they ask help for? Tom Cruise. You know why? Because he's a man. Right? Help me, Tom Cruise. Help me. Right? So I was at the Church of Scientology just 2 days ago, right? So I walked up and I said, help me, Tom Cruise, right? And I'm surprised a laser beam didn't suck me up into the spaceship. True story, okay? So I don't want to get into this. This ain't about abused men. This is about a missing child that allegedly at this point is no longer with us, deceased. And it's a recovery mission. Some people said they think coyotes ate the bones and the baby's gone and, rumors like that. Now, I'm one of those people that believe the dingoes or the coyotes didn't get the baby. Okay, I mean it's a good go to. The dingo snatched the baby, right? But we got the mother saying the baby's been kidnapped. We got the father. We don't know what he's saying. We don't know what he's saying to the authorities because the authorities haven't come out and released it. Y'all remember when Tom Cruise was jumping on Oprah's couch? That is a strange man. Okay, that is a really strange man. But I know he would whip Johnny Depp's ass. Okay, some women don't have the mental strength to leave. I mean, it's the thing is this: is some women are house mothers and they have kids, and instead of building their careers, they build families, right? And there's a lot of you guys that do that, right? And some of you can say it right here. Say, "Well, Dolly, I ain't worked. I've been a housewife." Or you may work, right? But I've been a housewife. I raised 5 beautiful kids. I got a great husband. He took care of us. He paid for the kids to go to college. Um, and so some of you guys rely on you, man. If you have a good man out there, there's no problem with relying on your man. He's going to take care of you. He's going to make sure you got everything you need to survive, right? And you are good to go. But some women put themselves in a situation and they count on this man or they don't got nowhere else to go. And one thing I've been telling my daughter since she was a little girl, and you know I have a daughter, she's 25 years old, is don't count on any man. Have your own stuff. Don't, if you add somebody to your life, add somebody that adds good to your life. Not somebody's going to bring you down. You're equal. Somebody's going to work just as hard as you to make sure everything is awesome, right? And I tell my kid that all the time. Don't, because you never know. A dude could cheat on you. He could leave you, and then what do you have, right? What do you have at that point? You don't have nothing. You don't have a place to go. So you want to make things work because you're out. You don't have many options, and then it's just a way of you're trapped. And I don't like to see that. Dolly, you're exactly right. Amen. I told my daughter to never depend. That there you go. And when you have a daughter, you'll understand this. For people that don't have daughters, if you just got sons, boys are going to take care of themselves. They're going to be all right? Women, we are girls. We got to make them a little more stronger, a little more independent, and not dependable on other people. And I preach that to my kid, right? And you know, right now she works full time. She has her own place, own car, does her own thing. And if somebody comes to her life, I want somebody that brings value to her life, not take away from what she's doing. And as a parent, you ever put your hands on my kid, I'm going to prison. And because I'm a protector, right? I'm a protector. I think it's instinctual to be that way. So when I see parents that hurt their kids, I can never understand it because I love my kids so much, right? Maybe too much. I spent way too much money on her, right? But and spoiler, but she's the only kid I have. When I see people that just abuse their kids, or even when I'm in public and you're talking bad to your kid, they remember all that. Children are sponges. They're just little sponges. They pick up everything around them. They're little products of their environment. You put any kid in a good environment and they will thrive. You can take the best kid and put him in a poor situation and he won't thrive. It's so you're doing your kids when you talk down to your kid. You need to be telling your kid they can be anything they want to be, that they can rule the world one day. You got to build your children up because one day they're going to be on their own and they're going to need that confidence. They're going to need that I can do anything I put my mind to. You have to reinforce that. So many people have like self-doubt in this world that it's crazy. Like me, I know I can do anything I want to do if I put my mind to it and work hard. Now, you can put your mind to things, but if you don't get out there and do the work, the hard work that it takes, you won't reach that. Nothing's given to you like that. You have to earn it. I think Jake is bluffing. I think he said he will show the police where he thinks Emmanuel is, but it's not the right spot. Annie Jean, I agree with you. I don't think he's confessed said he killed this baby. All right. I don't think that's the case. I think he's leading them to locations he thinks she may have dropped the baby. Would you confess? Right? I ain't saying you would ever commit a crime, but let's just say I'm chopping somebody up, right? And they come to me, I'm gonna be like, somebody else chopped that person up. I don't know what you're talking about. That I ain't telling on myself, right? Why would you tell on yourself? Why wouldn't you just go, okay, I'm going to be found guilty either way. I'm going to prison for life. Why tell on yourself? He's blaming her. I'm pretty confident of that. Now, if I'm wrong, I would be absolutely surprised. Now, I ain't saying I can't be wrong. Listen, I ain't right 100% of the time. But we this man has a history. And history repeats itself, right? Have y'all heard that? I didn't come up with it. Somebody way smarter than me came up with it. If you don't do nothing to change it, history will repeat itself. Or if you don't learn from history, history will repeat itself. And all this is history repeating itself. Now, listen, he got off with a slap on the hand for blaming his last wife, right? What? He had 72 months to serve in prison. He didn't serve none of that. None. He served like 170 days in jail. That's nothing. I can do 170 days on my head. Okay, 72 months is a little bit of a stay. He did none of that. So he didn't learn his lesson. Justice wasn't served for that little girl that had a fractured skull, broke ribs, and a broke leg. That wasn't justice. So he didn't learn his lesson. So he repeated it. I guarantee you this. If they would have put his ass in prison for 20 years for that little girl having a fractured skull, he might have learned his lesson. Might have is the key word. Not that he would have, but might have learned his lesson. So to me, if you don't punish these people that commit these heinous crimes, they're going to do it again. He wasn't even in jail long enough to be rehabilitated. You know, that word that they use that says, well, you can be a criminal one day and then one day. I think sometimes people are wild when they're young and they slow down when they're old. Right? I was wild ass young dude, right? Now I'm a little bit more chiller. I need rest. I slept good last night too, guys. I slept really good. I got me a full 8-hour solid sleep in. And I want to say this to people leaving weird ass hateful comments on my channel. These days, I have zero tolerance for that. If you don't like me, you don't have to be here, right? I block you instantly off the channel. As soon as I read something negative you say, I've seen people saying shit like I was on drugs. And listen, I haven't even smoked in officially 1 year. Okay. 1 year. I never done drugs. I've never been on drugs. I'm not on some Colombian Bam Bam or hanging out at the Breaking Bad lab. Okay. When I see stuff like that, I just think you're an idiot. And I'm like, okay, you probably on drugs. That's why you saying shit like this. I've been going hard for days. And when I came up here last night, I was tired. I was exhausted. Okay, so I was in chill mode, ready just to crash. Like I fell asleep sitting up. I don't never do that. Okay, usually I can never sleep. I fell asleep sitting up on the bed looking at my phone. That's how tired I was from the heat taking all that out of me in the desert. You got to remember, I don't live a desert life. Okay, I live where it's got a breeze and ocean and damn got a damn swimming pool. I don't I don't live the cactus life, right? My mouth's still dry. I got some lip balm and stuff, and my nose, nostrils are all dry. So it's definitely men get mental abused a lot. Courtney girl, I said that. I think women tend to mentally abuse more than physically abuse, and men usually are more physically abusive, but they can be mentally abusive too. And it don't matter if you man or woman. Okay, let me make this clear. Man or woman, if you in a relationship like that, get out of it because there's somebody out there that will treat you better, right? You will find that perfect person. Sometimes it takes a while. It took me a long ass time to find somebody that I could share my life with. Okay, and remember this: if you're going to pick a partner, pick one that you can fight with for every day for the rest of your life. Just don't hurt each other. Okay, arguing is normal, right? That's a normal part of being in a relationship. You're going to have disagreements and you're going to argue a little bit. But there's a difference between arguing and fighting, right? There's a difference. So I seen a shirt yesterday that said, "I'm not arguing. I'm just telling you why I'm right." I should have bought it, right? I should have bought that shirt. So is we're going to see more probably footage of Jake leading these police into different places, but I don't know if Emmanuel will be found. Okay. I mean, he's a small child, and you got to remember in the amount of time that he's been gone, we don't even know how long he's been gone, guys. We don't. Nobody knows. Nobody in the family seen the baby because allegedly she didn't take him out the car because he didn't have his vaccinations, right? But you would take him into a busy Big Five sports store. You would take him in all these other places, but you wouldn't let him out the car in a park with fresh air. I can tell who you voted for. Okay, I can tell who you voted for, right? Damn. Look, them days are past us of being prisoners in our home. All right, and everybody got sick anyway. Then what good did it do? Right? Everybody got sick. I had it this year. Okay, it's going around now. Locking yourself in your home, you're just gonna be at home sick instead of being out and enjoying your life sick. So to not let that kid out in a park with fresh air is crazy. And then, is this a situation where they purposely did this to the baby, or did this baby die in a hot car? I would say purposely because of just his criminal record alone. Does he have birth certificate? Whole family lies. Dolly, did you know Mary Rebecca's mom never met Emmanuel in person? That's what I'm talking about. This kid has been gone for a while. You thinking it went gone when she reported it? Mm-mm. They had to come up with something because probably the family and people were asking about the baby. You have it right now. See what I'm saying? What good does it do to shelter in place? You're going to get it anyway, right? The Uber Eats driver is going to give it to you. Somebody's going to, viruses and all that stuff they spread, germs are bad. But you can tell from this lady that she used that as an excuse. I won't take the baby out in the car. Like, that's lies to cover for what Jake has done, right? I know everybody's mad at the mom, and trust me, I'm mad at the mom too. She's going to get her punishment. Let me ask the chat this. Let me ask you this. Do you think they're just as equally responsible, or do you think Jake is a little more responsible, or do you think Rebecca's a little bit more responsible? Let me know in the chat. Myself, I lean towards Jake is more responsible. He's the father. He should have been the leader of this family. 100. It's lies, Dolly. Dumb as a rock. Both equal responsibility. Absolutely equally. Okay. I lean a little more towards Jake because this lady, I'm going to give my reasons now. Y'all don't have to agree with me. I do believe she needs to be punished. I said that in my earlier videos. I said, look, this is the time to talk. If you don't talk now, when they put you in prison forever, I ain't going to feel sorry for you, right? And I won't. I won't feel sorry for her because she was given that opportunity to speak. She still has it, and she's still sticking to a lie. Now, everybody knows it's a lie. It didn't take a genius to figure out that this woman is lying. So when they throw the book at her, I can't feel but so sorry for the woman. But if I say who's the worst, like if we give her 100 years, I think we should give Jake 150 years. That's what I think. And I don't know. I just tend to believe it's the man's fault more than a woman's fault because men usually, I don't want to hear every man in here be like, hell no, Dolly, usually men control what happens in the family setting. Okay. Like me and PJ together, I respect her wishes, right? I listen to them, but I'm usually the one that makes the calls. Okay. Now I take her information into consideration before I make a decision, but usually I make the decision. Like, hey babe, what do you want to eat tonight? Okay. And then she'll say something, and I'll be like, "Nah, I don't want that." You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go to Texas Roadhouse. And then she'd be like, "All right, I can do Texas Roadhouse." So there's like a little bit of listening, a little bit of compromise. But when the final call is made, it's usually by me, right? And women, y'all may understand that a little bit, or y'all may have a little more control of your relationship. Everybody's a little bit different. But, there's a such thing as the king and there's the queen, okay? Then there's the pawn. So there's a kind of a raking system to how things are done. And now, some people may have a different system. You could be two men in a relationship and you both kings. You could be two women in a relationship and be both queens. These days you can be a little bit of everything. You can be a lawn chair and your husband could be a zebra. Okay, it's fucking weird. It's the world we live in. It's the world we live in, right? And I respect that. If you a lawn chair and I'm a human being. Okay, I identify as a human. I just want everybody that thinks they're a zebra or a lawn chair to know I identify as an asshole. Okay. I'm old school, but the Bible, the man is, yeah. I mean, of course, you're old school, and that's how I look at things. The man is the head of the household, right? Unless you don't bring home the bacon, then you just take care of the kids, and you Mr. Mom, okay, you Mr. Mom at that point. You lose man points. And there's a man right now going, Dolly, I hate you. I take care of the kids. My wife makes more money. And listen, that's perfectly fine. I don't have nothing. Listen, some women make really good money, and it's hard for men to let women do that, right? But if you're in a relationship and whatever makes the family environment work the best, if it's you work and I stay at home and take care of the kids, I wouldn't have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? But we live in a society where we're both grinding all the time, me and PJ, right? She's at work right now. So are you still in Cali? I'm in Vegas. Okay. I'm on the Vegas Strip on Fremont Street. Okay. I usually don't tell people my location, but I ain't gonna be here much longer. So the time you track me down, I'll be on an airplane back to Virginia. All right. So next stop is VA. I will be back. I'll let you know. I'll be back home tomorrow. Okay. I plan on heading back most likely tomorrow morning. I'll be back in the studio. And let me tell you, I miss the dogs. And for anybody, like somebody left this a comment saying, Dolly's on vacation. My idea of a vacation is not the desert. Okay. I don't know if y'all know this. I'm a beachy ass person. Y'all ever notice when I get free time and I go live, I'm at the beach. I'm on the ocean front. I'm standing at the jetty. I'm riding my skateboards down the boardwalk. I I'm just a beachy person. Me and PJ were discussing where we're going to go on our vacation just today, this morning, while I was sitting at breakfast, and we are talking about, where are we going to go? She has a bunch of time off, and I want to make sure PJ has some fun, right, and enjoys her vacation. And we were talking about going somewhere, of course, that has the water, the beach. I'm a water baby. I like to be on the water. I don't want to look out the window and see mountains and desert. That's what I see. Y'all want to look? Look, I'll show you. This is my view. Let me show you guys. You can't see. It's too whited out. All right. Right down there, that's Fremont Street. All right, but if you look way behind me, there's the mountains and the desert. So, I mean, Vegas is circled by dirt and the cactuses. That's the only thing here. So, and a lot of noise. But even last night, I was so tired, I slept through all the noise. It didn't even bother me. The last time I was here and I stayed on the strip, all the I couldn't sleep. It was just banging and people screaming all night long. I'm talking 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So I was so tired last night. I slept like a brick. I love staying on Fremont or Freakmont. Yeah, I seen a good fight last night. I videotaped some of it. Okay, it was two women, and they were snatching each other's tops off. So I might not be able to show it on YouTube. But I think time I started recording it, they had their tops up. But the girl was punching the girl, and they were ripping each other's clothes off, and nobody broke it up either. It went on for a while. They fought for about a half a block down the street, and it was like there was a stage with like some cover band on it. I remember Atomic Radio. Okay, Atomic Radio, like a cover band, and they were singing, "Hey, what's going on?" I said, "Hey," right. So, and the fight broke out during some fucking 4-9 Blondes or something. It was wild. I was just like, damn, right? So I was like, welcome to Vegas. Welcome to Vegas. Who fights during 4-9 Blondes? Does Rebecca Harro have an attorney? Well, I'm assuming they're going to give her an attorney. I haven't heard too much about the slimeball attorney that, I confronted and told him he was a baby killer. He protected baby killers. Keep everyone on their toes. Why has Grandma not spoken since? Well, because Grandma said they didn't do it, right? I didn't. So now she has to eat crow, and why ain't the lawyer said anything? He was the one out here saying they didn't do it and they're innocent. And Jake wants to defend himself, and now he shut the hell up, didn't have nothing to say. Did he have anything to say when I said something to him? He was walking fast as hell, big ass dude. That's the fastest he's probably ever walked in his life. That's the closest to running that man has ever done, unless he was grabbing a Twinkie. Okay? He was fucking high stepping to get to that truck when he left there. The desert life is the best. Okay? I mean, if you don't want moisture in your skin, okay, if you want to look like a lizard at 35, obviously he's a great attorney. Got Jake and Easy. Well, yeah, I guess if you think about it, if he represented Jake in the last case and Jake didn't go to prison, is that he's a great attorney because he was found guilty, he was sentenced to prison, or is that the California prison system is overpopulated, there's no room in the jails, and they run a catch and release, right? Remember when we took the tour bus with the crime dude? He was a cool old man, right? He was like, LA especially has this catch and release. They catch you, they release you. They do it so much that the police don't even want to arrest you because they're like, I arrest this person, and they're just out the next day. Even the tour bus driver said that. He said, you can damn near do anything you want in LA. And if you get arrested, you're going to be out tomorrow. Does that set a good example to stop crime? That is just catch and release. You can steal, you can fight, you can do all these things. I can tell you this, Virginia don't got that. The East, go to Virginia. You'll go to Virginia on vacation. You'll leave on probation, and you'll come back on violation. They got a place for you. They don't care how many people's in jail. You sleep on the floor. They give you this thing. It's called a boat. It's a plastic tote. It's just a big plastic tote. And they give you a little mat, and your ass sleeps in a plastic tote on the floor. They got a place for you. You ain't doing that shit on the East Coast because we set a stronger example against crime. That's why crime ain't as bad. Why is crime way worse on the West Coast than it is on the East Coast? Because there's no punishment. You punish people, they ain't going to violate the law. Okay? You think I want to sleep on the floor in a tote at the jail? Hell no. You know why? Because I've been there. I've done that. It ain't pleasant. It sucks majorly, right? And they don't feed you good. They talk to you like you're a piece of shit. I don't care if you're in there for running an unpaid parking ticket. They treat you as you are the worst scumbag on the planet. Like, dude, I didn't kill nobody, man. I got unpaid parking tickets. They don't care. They do not care. You get the same punishment. If you run a red light with no driver, you drive around with no license, they treat you like you killed 7 people. Okay? Your ass will learn when you get out of jail. I better get a license. I'll take the bus. I'll walk. Okay, the blisters are on my feet, but oh hell no, am I sleeping in a plastic tote on the floor? And especially if you live a decent life. Now maybe if you homeless and ain't got nothing, you may go, all right, well I get 3 hots and a cot. I hate to break it. You only get 2 hots and a tote. That you don't get no cot. A cot would be way better than what you actually get. But everybody says that 3 hots and a cot. Not in Virginia. Hell no, you only get 2 meals now. You only get 2. They give you breakfast and they give you a bag lunch at breakfast. And you're supposed to save it to lunchtime, and then you get a meal at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So you'll eat at 4 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So that sucks, and we got to make sure that people like this don't commit any more crimes. So you punish them hard, and if you break the law, I believe even me, if I do something stupid when I'm sitting there, I don't think I'm supposed to have it pleasant, right? I don't think it's supposed to be great. Like you're supposed to pay for your crimes. You're supposed to pay, and it just is what it is. And California, look, they released this guy for abusing a baby, and he gets out and he kills a baby. What a damn monster. What a monster. So just think in the next few days, he's going to be continuing to BS the police. They're probably out today searching other locations, right? And of course, we're going to have people running up on these locations, different people, when they see the police gathering, that they, in that area, believe it or not, for California, it's not the most populated area. It's busy, right? With a lot of through traffic and stuff like that. But far as like, it's not the biggest community. So all of them are aware of what's going on, all the way to LA. Okay. Even I was talking to people in LA and they knew about Emanuel Harro. So believe it or not, that the baby's name had spread and the story had spread pretty much all over California. All the parts that I was in, everybody knew about it. There wasn't nobody that didn't know. That's good coverage, right? The media did a good job of getting the information out there and stuff like that. And like I said, we see in other cases where they don't do that. Jack and Lily, just as important, right? We need Malaya and Daniel in jail, just like Rebecca, just like Jake. Okay, just because it's Canada, don't mean those kids' lives don't matter. And I'm a little upset with American news that didn't cover Jake and Jack and Lily. Okay, I'm a little disappointed in our media, especially some of our big people. Like, why? Because it ain't as big of a story, so don't cover it, right? I think all these kids matter. All of them. My kid matters. Your kid matters. Kids in Canada matter. Kids in South Africa matter. We got to stop allowing people to abuse our kids or hurt their kids. We need to make the punishment stronger for people that do this, or they're going to continue to do it. To me, it's all the Casey Anthony effect. That's how I look at it. I just think that when she did that, it was so highly publicized that she became a household name, right? A household name. I asked, was there anybody that didn't know who Casey Anthony? There was like one person that didn't know who Casey Anthony was. That's crazy that you can hurt your child and you become a household name, but don't go to prison or jail. You're now out giving legal advice, right? Giving legal advice from the shittiest mother on the planet. Does that seem insane? It seems insane. So let's continue to pray for Emmanuel. Let's continue to pray for Jack and Lily Sullivan in Nova Scotia, even though American media don't want to cover it, you sleazeballs. I guess Canadian kids don't bring the commercial views. Budweiser don't want to play commercials during a missing Canadian kid. I don't know. I don't know what it is, right? Is the story any different? Right? Is the story any different? I think Jack and Lily's story should be bigger. I mean, we're talking 2 kids. Nothing against Emmanuel, but he's only one child. Same circumstances, different location, 2 kids. One story gets tons and tons of national attention, and the other story don't. And you got to remember, they just barely across the border in Nova Scotia. I just feel bad for those kids that they didn't get the attention they deserved. All right, and I wish I could have flew in when it was going on, but Canada's really funny about their passports and having criminal history, and even if it's minor criminal history, they don't like to let you in their country. I don't blame them, right? I don't, I wouldn't want a bunch of criminals in my damn country either, but it is what it is. Kids don't just disappear. You're absolutely right. Did they buy saws that say they tried the hacksaw thing? I'm not sure. I think that's a little bit of speculation. They did buy a burner phone when they took off their phones. Well, okay, listen to the crazy part. I'm almost getting ready to get out here, but I want to touch on this before I do. People were literally climbing on their house. Okay, people were going in to their property, taking the trash, looking through the receipts, and there was one gentleman out there that said he had a receipt for a cell phone. They had a burner phone, according to him, right? That he had went into trash and he took the receipts and he found a receipt for, I think they went to some type of Family Dollar or something and bought a $50 burner phone. Why? Because they know their phones are getting tapped. I said that in the beginning. They're going to tap their phones. They're going to get warrants to search their social media stuff, right? We know that's ran by the CIA anyway. If you didn't, now you know. Okay, don't think you can say some shit on the internet and the police don't see it. That shit was set up by the CIA, sold to the CIA, right? To monitor people and their stuff, that's help stop, like 9/11s and things like that from happening. So they were smart enough to know, hey, we need a burner that they can't track. They don't know who got it. Some prepaid stuff. And these prepaid phones, believe it or not, they help criminals, right? They help people. They because you can't be tracked, and they're so cheap that you can just go out to any store and buy you a $50 phone, or even cheaper. I've seen them for $30, $29.99. And you can go get one and buy you a little SIM card for $30, put it in there, unlimited minutes, unlimited texting, 4G internet. You know what I'm saying? It probably won't give you the 5G. You have to have a decent phone company to do some 5G, but most of them will give you at least unlimited 4G, and that's good enough, right? To communicate with. Yes, they couldn't get a saw at the one place, but maybe another. Now, if you go anywhere, they'll sell you a saw. So they'll be like, they tried to buy a saw. How do you try to buy something? You either can buy it or you can't buy it, right? Matter of fact, I went to breakfast this morning and my card was declined. I was thinking, damn, I'm broke, right? And then I was thinking, man, I got to have a little money. Right? I can't be that broke. So I called the bank and I used the ATM here in the hotel that I'm at, and it's a casino. So they were like, they froze my account. So I called the bank and they said, your account is on the warm status. I was like, warm? What the hell is warm? What the hell does that mean? My status is warm. I thought she was going to say your status was on E. Okay, your status is on E. Get home, you're broke, right? I thought that's what she was going to say. But she said, nah, your status is warm, which means we flagged it for fraud. And I was like, no, lady. I called when I was in LA and told the bank that I was going to be in Vegas because everywhere I go, they flag my account. So I went to the Hard Rock in LA and had lunch on my birthday. It was a really nice place, right? So I went to use my card at the Hard Rock, and you actually owe us $200 for this phone call. For this phone call, right? Yeah. Like we charging you about a minute All right. So I go to the Hard Rock. I eat some tacos. I figured I'd share that with y'all because I overshare. That's what PJ tells me. So I got me some tacos with some lime. I like a little lime on my tacos. Anybody do lime on your tacos? Chicken tacos with a little bit of lime. Squeeze it up there. Anybody? Anybody? Just press one in chat. Right. So I had me some tacos with a little bit of lime, and I go to pay for it, and the dude comes back and says, "Your card declined." So I told him, run it till it don't decline. Keep trying. The bank might feel sorry for me, right? They might feel sorry for me. I'm waiting on a check, right? I'm waiting on a check. So he goes back and he runs the card again, and it comes back declined. And I'm thinking, okay, that ain't right. So I got a little bit of money in the bank. I ain't got a lot of money in the bank. So I call the bank, and they tell me, no, your account's active. And I was like, they were like, well, maybe he didn't know how to run the card. I was thinking, who the hell don't know how to run a credit card, right? That don't even make good sense. She said, well, your account's not inactive. It's on. And because I didn't have so much cash on me, I was surprised I had enough to pay him, just like this morning breakfast. So I tell them that I'm going to be in Vegas. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be in Vegas tomorrow because I was going to go to Universal. And then I was like, hell no, I don't feel like walking around in the heat. I'm just going to come see my sister, right? Since I'm so close, so she won't be mad at me and hold a grudge against me because I was out this way. Because she lives on the West Coast, I live on the East Coast. And I come all this way out here and don't see her, right? She'd be a little pissed off. And it's my older sister, too. So they make the notes on my account. I go to breakfast this morning, and it was a good breakfast. It was absolutely good. I ate some French toast, some scrambled eggs with some turkey sausage. That's the oversharing part. Okay, that's the oversharing. And I go to use my card, and this little old lady up there, she takes it. I said, look, you got to tap it. If you try to swipe it, it's not going to work. You're going to have to tap it. She taps it, comes back, declined. I'm like, what? I was like, you know what I said, right? Tap it again, right? Tap it so many times that the damn card is tap dancing up there. I don't know. Run it till it works. So she taps it again. It comes back declined. So I called the bank and said, look, I got to get home. Y'all got to fix my card situation because I got to get my ticket to get home. And so tighten up. So my card is back active, I guess. And tap dancing, yeah, tap dance that baby, right? Bounce it off the credit card machine. I don't care what you do. Put some money on it. Woman, could you put a little bit of money in my account? Would be great. Okay. Funny story. I was standing outside last night watching some dudes on a trampoline. They were doing tricks on a trampoline, right? And this dude walks up to me. He's a little guy, not intimidating or nothing. He leans over to me. He goes, "Are you Irish?" And I kind of laughed to myself. And I looked at. I said, "Nah, bro. I'm full redneck. I'm full redneck." Right? He looked at me like he didn't quite understand what that meant, right? Because you could tell he was straight Irish. He was almost a damn leprechaun. He was that Irish. So he goes, "Well, ain't most white people Irish?" I'm like, I don't know what most people are, bro, but I can tell you now. I'm just redneck, just redneck. I don't. True story. Can't make it up. So listen, guys, continue to pray for these missing kids. Continue to fight for them, and let's bring some justice. And when justice gets here, we will celebrate that. All right. Hey, for all you YouTubers out there, stop jumping the gun. Okay, stop jumping the gun. This ain't a race for first place. Okay, it ain't a race for first place. Stop treating it like it's a race, because I'm slow. Okay. I don't feel like running. I do not feel like running. You guys be good. I'm going to go enjoy some of my day. I got to go get a suitcase from my sister's house, a little bit bigger, because every time I come here, she likes to send me back with a whole bunch of shit that I don't need. I don't know why, but she'll just be like, oh, well, I got this for you. I got this. And before long, it's like $300 just a baggage to get on the plane. Like I flew back from Vegas last. I thought the plane was gonna fall out of the sky. She loaded that bitch down with stuff, and I'm like, I don't even have room for it in my house. So I got to go get a bigger suitcase to fit the stuff she loves. She right. Not if the plane falls out the sky from being overpacked, right? Like, damn, what was it, Leah? That's what I feel like. I got on the plane, there was 72 suitcases. Like, how do you even put that in an Uber, right? When I get back home, I'm going to have to Uber home unless it's after 5. So how am I going to fit all this shit in the Uber? Yeah, I mean, just different things. I understand it. I get it. But sometimes I think she just wants to clear shit out of her house. And then all it's going to do is junk up my house. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to clean up clutter now, right? I'm trying to clean up clutter. So when I go over there, we're going to have a little conversation about how much stuff I'm going to take back, right? Because I need a little room in the suitcase because I don't have, my stuff is overpacked. And I bought some things in LA for PJ and Ava and Tiffany. So I need a little bit bigger suitcase. So I got to go over there, take care of that today. I may see you guys later. What is it on the East Coast? It's 3 here. So it's 6 o'clock on the East Coast. Prime time on the East, right? It's still early in the morning. Oh, wait. No. Shit. No, it's 3:49 on the East Coast. It's 11:49 here. Okay. 11:49. My computer's still on East Coast time. I looked down and said it's 2:50 here. So no, it's only 2:50 on the East Coast because my computer is on East Coast time. I keep forgetting I'm on the West Coast and it's only 11:50. It's still morning time. All right, guys, be good, stay safe, and I will see you guys this afternoon. Your guys is late night, or if you're on the West Coast, in a little while. Let me take care of what I got to take care of. You are appreciated, Dolly. Thank you, guys. I'm looking forward to your tour of Virginia. Well, I live there. I tour that every day. So y'all be good. And remember, if nobody else does, Dolly loves you. Peace.